A well-balanced trim is every windsurfer's dream. It's the foundation to the moments that you will never forget. In this tutorial, Andrea Cucchi will take you and me on a deep dive into the magic of sail tuning. Your understanding of how a sail works might change, and your next session might already feel different.
Andrea will join in a moment, and before we get to the tuning, I will mess up the trim and then I will show the sail to Andrea, and I want to see what Andrea will fix, and of course I'm hoping to get some special tricks from him because he apparently is the expert when it comes to this topic. And if you are new to this YouTube channel, feel free to subscribe, leave a thumbs up and write a comment if you enjoy the content. Yeah, look, like I took your AC0.
Yes.
And I adjusted the trim a little bit, you know.
That's good.
I tried to perfectionize it.
Perfect.
I want to see if you can improve it.
The starting point is the mast tension.
Okay.
Okay, that's where it all starts from. Also, when we are developing the sail, the first thing we do, we don't look at the sail, and we just receive like a new prototype or any sail that we want to rig and test.
Yeah.
The first thing to do is like we downhaul the sail till we feel a certain tension in the mast.
Mm-hmm.
So for us it's important actually to downhaul the sail by hand. For me it's just simple to sit down, you know, make a very simple loop for anything that I can put inside the loop to downhaul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what I do is like I try not to pull with my arms more, you know, I just pull with my leg because then I can really feel what's happening with my arms to the thing, to the tension. So what I do is, I start stretching my foot, you know, and leaning a little back, and I can feel at one point that the tension that I was pulling now till now was very constant.
Okay.
Yes. So when I'm downhauling the sail, I feel that the mast is bending. I'm holding it with my hand now, I'm not on the clit.
Yeah.
The mast was bending with a very natural, constant tension.
Yeah.
Yes. And this, you know, I get to a point which is I got now, you know, where it becomes harder.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Now it's like there's more tension.
Yeah.
And I just stopped there. So let me just lock it here for a second.
Yeah.
So if I leave it like this, the mast has a very constant tension and curve into the sail, which gives the freedom to the mast to breathe with the sail, to have the torsion, to have the twist, and this breathing is very important. But it doesn't have that extra tension, which makes the mast have also a little bit more acceleration to be a bit more reactive. So like this, you say we feel comfortable, but you will not get to the extra speed. The acceleration will be a little bit more dead. So what I need from getting to this point, is the extra, what I call the extra cm. Yeah. So once, you know, I'm going to repeat
once you reach the point where it gets hard, you pull one extra.
So it's like, you know, you see it? It's just here. So practically, you know, you just get to this point. You see, it's very simple, you know. I can do 100 times, I don't get tired.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Anyway, this is like the natural. Now I get here, this is natural tension. Yeah. And there's no extra force put in. Yeah. And now, this is where it makes a difference, you know. From here, I actually go with a, let's say, fast pull. You know, it's like a cm and a half. Yeah. You know, this is where I bring the mast to have the right tension.
Oh, you hit the spot.
And I hit the spot without looking.
Yeah, yeah, so yeah, it's true. I mean, and this is, you didn't look at it?
No, nothing. I didn't
it's crazy because it's like on the millimeter you hit it.
Yes.
Wow, this is, you really didn't look?
No, I didn't look.
Wow,
for sure not.
I want to try that too now.
Yes, and this tension is what we use in all our 0.7 sails, you know, and I feel that if you do this in any sail, it will work, you know, because you're actually bringing the mast to have this natural tension, which works good, makes the sail comfortable, and then you give that extra cm and a half, which brings the mast to have more tension and to be alive. If you go over this point, you know, I can downhaul even 3-4 centimeters more if I want. Yeah. But then the mast will be like too tensed, yes. So it will not be free to use its natural, let's say, reflex. It would be like strangling.
Yeah, okay, it was stressed,
yeah, it will stress the mast. It's like putting too much tension on the boom head. That's also stressing the mast, you know. So also the boom head has to be tightened. That is giving the mast a little bit of freedom.
Guys, I really hope you're learning something for your next windsurf session. If so, feel free to leave me a thumbs up for this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel to not miss any of the future videos, and of course, feel free to check out our windsurf online shop, The Wind Lounge. It's linked down in the video description. We are focused on customer advisory, so if you need anything, if you need advice on your next piece of equipment, let us know. We are here, and now let's continue with the tutorial. I never rigged the sail like that. I always look. This is how I did it so far. Okay, so this is like, until where does it, here it gets tight, no?
Yes,
Is this the right point?
Exactly.
Okay, I will now not look. I close my eyes now. Now, here it gets tight, and now you say 1.5, like this.
Yes.
Was too much or okay?
It was like kind of a weak press. No, you got to the right place before, but the thing is that you got to the right place. So
Yeah.
you go to the right place like before.
Wait,
Yes, don't look.
wait, yeah, here? Yeah.
Yes. Let's say that before you had a little bit more power when you did it. So.
No,
Okay.
wait.
Yes, bravo. Now you're doing it right.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Here it starts.
Yes,
okay.
exactly. Now you
Yeah.
got it right.
Yeah.
Now, before what happened is that you let go and then you pulled again.
Yeah.
Now from there,
Yeah.
this position, you give that extra CM.
Okay, now I do like this.
Exactly. That's it. Now you can check yourself and you will see that you got it right in the place.
That's cool. That's cool.
You see?
Yeah, it's
perfect.
exactly like,
It's exactly like I did it.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow. This is a really, this is,
And and this is like,
this is cool.
and from here, this is the starting point because the mast has that tension which makes it reactive,
Yeah.
comfortable, free to move. And if you can develop the sail with this tension,
Yeah.
you have this love, passion feeling that the sail can give,
Yeah.
where the mast is working,
Yeah.
it's absorbing the chop, it's absorbing the gas, but still accelerating. It's not
Yeah.
a stiff sail. So the next thing is the boom tension.
Yeah.
Of course, we always advise to have the adjustable downhauls because then you don't have to worry how much tension you put on the beach. You go on the water, you can adjust them and you feel.
Yeah.
But even there, we are putting on the sails like plus or minus 2 centimeters. It's kind of true, but because in the end you have these settings. In some sails you can even go plus or minus 5.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, that's what actually it is because we don't actually see it on the boom, but we can go into that.
Yeah.
So first thing is like you release fully the clue rope.
Mm-hmm.
You let it completely loose and you start pulling. It's again here about tension,
Okay,
a
it's
bit of
feeling again,
feeling
yeah?
again, yes. So what you do is like you start pulling, and if you see there's no tension, nothing, yes. So as soon as I start pulling and I feel the first tension, yeah.
That's the 0 point, no?
So all the ropes are having actually the 0.
Mm-hmm.
I actually stop. That's enough.
Okay.
Yeah, for light wind.
Okay.
So in light wind, I would just trim it, and if you see, it's like there's maybe 4 centimeters. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
As
yeah.
compared to what the boom is saying.
I actually made it to a random number, but seems to work.
Yes. No, it's 182, and here on the sail it says there.
Damn it, 180 or 5.
180,
I
okay.
thought I messed it up more.
So let's go one down. Now, for
see.
example, so what we're saying here is like fully loose. You start pulling tension. All the ropes have a little bit of tension. Light wind, you stop.
Cool. It looks like it's nothing.
It's nothing. Yes.
Yeah.
But then if you would now we can show this. Okay, I block it there. If you put your foot on the extension, yes, and I'm pressing down the mast here.
Is there space?
Yes, and I press down here.
Yeah.
You will see that the ropes actually go in a lot of tension on the clue of the boom,
Yeah.
right? So you see the nice curve
true.
of the whole sail. So if you see now the ropes at the back, they're loose.
Yeah.
Yes. By the moment that we put tension onto the mast, like the wind goes in, the ropes are going into tension. So it's like you have a nice profile from the front, going to round profile going from the front all the way to the back, and you have tension on the boom. When you go and then put the extra, let's say the wind increases, it's
Yeah.
like a medium wind, like this. What you do, you're going to put that extra cm,
1 cm
1
more.
cm, 1 cm more,
Yeah.
and you're flattening this area of the sail. So you're taking out the power from here because of course the first part of the sail which gets overpowered is the backhand.
Yeah.
So when you take out, you pull the outhaul tension, and you're actually making the sail here become flatter. So the tension on your back arm, the power on your back arm decreases, and again, the pressure stays central to your body.
Yeah.
And then of course when you get more power, more wind, so this one is still like having still too much profile, then you can go all the way to the end, and that's the last cm.
Oh,
So you
okay,
pull
cool.
up, so it's again fully flat, and then what happens is that once you're flattening the sail because you're overpowered, the sail is releasing wind from the top, but once you're full and the top part of the sail can't release more than that because you're getting overpowered, what happens next, once this is flat, you're starting to get the S shaping of the buttons on the sail. So you're not going to have the profile, you're going to have
It's not good, yeah.
you're going to have this profile here. That means that the wind is coming in from the front, giving you the stability, coming to this point, because it's going negative, the profile, the wind will take off from here, so it's like your sail will be shorter, so smaller.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Ah, so it's something good.
So it's something very good.
Ah, okay. I always thought that.
So the
But-
S shape, the
yeah.
buttons have to, once you pull it out, so the wind, what happens is that the profile is straight, so the wind goes out faster because there's no profile giving power, and you don't need the power in strong wind. Right? So the straighter it is, the faster it is. But at one point when it gets too windy, you start getting this negative shape of the buttons, on all the buttons, yes.
Yeah.
And so the sail is like getting shorter. So the S shaping of the button is for that. So if the wind takes off before the end of the sail, it gets even faster, the sail. It's more
I
stable
understand.
and it's faster. But from what I see is that you put a lot of button tension.
Maybe.
Yes. So if you put too much button tension, the button, even if you pull it out hole because it's windy and you want to go fast when it's windy and you take out the power,
Yeah.
because you put a lot of tension, as I see on this button, the button still has profile here at the back.
Ah,
so the wind
yeah.
can't go out. You put so much tension that you're getting this effect. So the wind is coming from the front, it wants to go out, but it finds let's call it uphill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it can't go out, so it's like a handbrake.
Yeah.
And this handbrake not only slows down the sail, it makes the sail very unstable
Yeah.
and heavy.
Just
Because
totally
the
makes
moment-
sense. Yeah.
Because the moment the wind can't go out, you have like a push, which is just weight. So we need to release this button to have the button to work in a negative direction. And now when I press like this, like here, there's no tension. We can see from the wrinkles.
Yeah.
So, but the S shape is actually working.
Yeah.
Here, there's no wrinkle, but there's too much tension.
Yeah.
And the button, I have to use like a lot of power to bend it,
Yeah.
So the wind won't be able to do it.
I have one question.
Yes.
Like, this is the maximum, no? Overdoing is also then you lose the pressure point and stuff, no?
Well, yes, overdoing it, now you still have a nice belly. We
Yeah.
pull the out hole, so it's flat at the back.
Yeah.
If I pull more, I'm not going to flatten the sail more in the back,
But in the front.
but in the front. And the front, a lot of people might think that the profile is giving power to the sail. Yes, it can give power to the sail, but it's also what is giving the stability to the sail.
Yeah.
So the moment you pull more, you're going to flatten the profile in the front.
He's
Yes.
completely wet.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the moment that you pull the fully the out hole, you're going to flatten the profile too much in the front, and then the stability of the sail will be lost. So you need to keep the belly in the front, the profile in the front, is what you need to have the comfort in strong wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what gives the stability. It's pushing the board down to have control.
That's
If
so
it
cool.
would be flat, the sail would be less stable. There would be less, let's say, weight in the front to the mast foot.
Yeah.
So the board would just kind of fly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would not have the pressure
Yeah.
pushing it down.
It's so interesting. It's really the functioning of the S shape of the battens is also something, like I heard of it, but the way you explain it is the first time I understand how it works.
Yes, because now
And-
if you see,
yeah.
the opening area of the sail, if you hold the boom 1 second here,
Sure.
the main opening of the sail is actually on button 3. Because the two buttons on top are kind of close, because you don't want the wind to go out from the top as well, because that's the winglet. It's like when you close the sail at the bottom, you don't want the wind to go out from the bottom.
Yeah.
So you're closing the sail on the board so that you get more pressure and you get more power, more speed, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same on the top. You want the two buttons on the top to be more closed,
Yeah.
so that the wind doesn't go out from the top, but you want the wind to go out from the back. And this is the button which has the most release.
Okay.
Okay, so we have like the wind coming from the bottom, the wind coming from the top, the Venturi effect, and we have a funnel. So the funnel is this one. So the wind is coming out from here.
Yeah.
And if you see, this is the lowest point of the sail on the leech.
Yeah.
But at one point, this area and all the part where the wind's coming in strong wind, will not be enough. You know, there will be not enough. It will be not enough releasing.
Yeah.
So the rest of the sail has to start to help, and the only way that it helps is to actually S shape. So there's a trick between the panels to have this S shaping. Also, the buttons have to follow the S shaping. So it's not just tubes. You know, there's a lot of things and weight and inside details that we do. So it's like an automatic, you know, opening and closing of for the power according to the wind.
This makes so much sense, and it's, I guess, stuff that 99% of the people never have heard of about. I think it's important to mention that you started really easy on the outhaul, so that like you have it right now is actually that I'm looking at it how I would pull it too.
This would be for strong wind.
Yeah. This is how I often do it.
Yes.
Maybe also in the light wind I need to do less. But just so the people know, like when Andrea says he pulls more, it's really not a lot. You know, the sail is absolutely not flat. It has a deep profile.
If we are talking about S shaping on the top of the buttons, it's also happening on the bottom. You know, and that's why there's a tack strap. You know, a lot of people are asking us how much they have to pull the tack strap. You know, if you pull a lot, the tack strap. So like I'm gonna do now. Yes. So practically what happens is that it's very tight, so the wind won't come out the bottom, and that's what you want. You don't want the wind to come out from here. Yeah. So that's why you have the tack strap. But at the same time, you're not giving the chance to the bottom button to open. You see?
Yeah, I see.
It's like, yes, it's moving, you know, but it's kind of stiff, you know. And in strong wind it could work, but like already in the medium wind it will be too much. Yeah. And you also want this button in strong wind to actually open, to go straight. Yes. Yeah. So if you put too much tension, you know, it won't be able to open. If you have too much tension on the tack strap, it won't be able to open as well.
Should I release?
Yes, so release it.
How much?
You release everything now?
Yeah, okay.
Now, so to pull the tension, you can do it. You start putting tension. As soon as you feel that the tension is not making this to the tack strap, so now it's too soft, you see it's wobbling, and this is not good. Okay. So now it's still kind of wobbly. Still? Yes.
More?
Yes, a little bit more. This is good now. This is already starting to be good.
How did you pull this like this?
Yes. Okay. So it's all about tensions. You know, the rigging of the sail is like a lot of feeling in the tensions, and there's a reason because of this. You know. Yeah. And now, you know, if the wind comes, if it's light wind, you know, the wind is going to go up to the clew, so it's pushing all the power to the boom area, which is good. There's no wind coming out from the top, from the bottom. But as soon as the wind increases, this one still has the chance now to open and be straight. And of course, again, you know, straight is fast.
This makes so much sense.
Yes. So if you see also the button inside, you know, there's like a middle tube. Yeah. There's a tube in the middle, which is keeping the profile of the sail at the bottom flat. And the last part of the button here, so like a third of the button at the back, is actually just a small tube, which is like a thinner, softer. And this is what gives you power in light wind because it's soft and it stays close. But when it gets windy, it being soft, he actually just makes the whole button become straight.
But this is not normal with every no-cam sail, no? This looks kind of special.
This is what we have in our race sail, and you know, all our
this is from you, I guess.
Yes, this is what we tried many things, and this was what was working the best. And you know what we do on our race sail is actually also into all the other sails, because in the end, if you buy a slalom no-cam sail, it's not that you want a free ride sail, you want to be fast.
Race, yeah.
Yeah, in the end, you just don't want the hassle of cams, but you still want to be fast.
Yeah.
So it's like when you buy for example, in this case, the White Tiger, you know, you want something which is a bit easier, but you don't want to be slow.
Yeah, no, sure. Yeah.
So here you don't want the hassle of cams, but you still want to be fast. So it's not a toy to just cruise around.
Not even the freeride guy wants to be slow. Nobody wants
to be slow. So you just want to be more comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, in the end, also the riders, you know, the pro riders, they actually want to be fast, they need to be comfortable. So everything that is developed into a race sail is to be comfortable. Yeah. So they just have, more power in the sail, but the sail needs to have comfort. Otherwise you cannot be fast. Yeah. So all the details done on a race sail actually fit to a free race sail. The crazy part is the buttons. Yeah. Yes? Buttons is always like, you know, every brand can be different in this. Yeah. And sometimes buttons are used to fix mistakes in the sail project.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So let's say that you don't have enough profile,
Yeah.
or you have the sail which is ballooning in a place.
Yeah.
You can put softer buttons or stiffer buttons to, let's say, correct the small mistakes which could be in a profile or in a leech opening. But if the sail is developed to the millimeter to be good,
Yeah.
the buttons just need to follow the shape of the sail.
Okay.
Okay. Or enhance the performance of the profile or of the twist of like the S shaping. It's like the mast. If you put too much tension in the buttons, you're gonna kill the, let's say, the breathing of the sail.
Yeah.
The sail needs to be free, needs to breathe, needs to work.
Yeah.
If I put too much tension, then all this breathing is lost.
Yeah.
So all the S shaping is killed. If I put too much tension, yes, I'm killing the S shaping. I'm closing the sail, because the more you tension the buttons, the more you close the sails.
Mm-hmm.
And if I close the sail, I slow down the sail and make it heavier. But if I don't put enough tension, I also don't allow the button to give me the right profile in the front, because then I'm not like, for example, now I haven't checked the buttons, but for example, here we have wrinkles in the front, right?
Yeah.
And these are big wrinkles. This is like all lost profile.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So what happens is that this material, if I put tension, it will stretch, and then I will have a nice profile. If I don't do it, the profile will be more flat compared to what we developed.
Okay.
Yes. So
But some wrinkles is okay, no? Because
yes, but now I will show you why some wrinkles will be okay.
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 Cool.
So now we will see it exactly in this button. I'm going to put tension till the wrinkles, let's say, can disappear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like now, if I keep going, yes, it looks very nice. There are no wrinkles at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually, when I look here at the back, I start having like
Nice denting.
because there's too much tension at the back, and this is what again gives me a profile at the back, which I don't want.
Yeah.
So I prefer to release it once I know that the button is all the way in, because I put a lot of tension.
Yeah.
I start releasing it. Okay. I start releasing it, and I only stop releasing the button in the minute that I start seeing, let's say, that there start to appear also wrinkles more at the back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So here you really look more.
Yes, I look more at the back. I don't want wrinkles at the back. I don't mind having some wrinkles
In the front.
in the front. Often some wrinkles are appearing, apart from maybe the materials being more reflective also, which makes them see, which makes like the wrinkles see a bit more.
Yeah.
But also because, for example, this sail, to make sure that the buttons is straight and follows a profile and doesn't S-shape in the, let's say, in this direction, not S-shaping like we discussed before, but just like a snake into the button pocket. The button pocket has a lot of tension, meaning that it keeps the button into place, and it has a width. It's a tube.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it goes to the front, the tube stops here, so there's a change in diameter between the tube and the button tip. So where there's the change, of course, here there's more tension on the button pocket, and here there's less tension because the button is a tip which is smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So you get this, let's say, bigger,
This is where it comes from.
yes, the bigger diagonal wrinkles,
Mm-hmm.
which can be taken out by doing one thing, making the button pocket wider.
Okay.
Okay. But what happens is that we were testing, and having a wider pocket, yes, it takes you this cosmetics wrinkles away, but then you have the button inside like this, and we realized that actually the performance of the sail was not as good as having a tighter button pocket. So we prefer to have a few wrinkles there rather than not having them.
I get it.
You get it?
Makes sense.
Yes. So
this batten.
So this button, what I do is like I normally put tension into the button so that I'm sure that the button is all the way in, and then I release it till I start seeing the wrinkles at the back. Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
So now I start seeing the wrinkles here as well, and I don't want to have the wrinkles at the back there, not here, even here. And so I just pull the tension that I see those wrinkles to disappear, and it's enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
And I do this on every button.
On every. It's the same on every.
Yes. So now, for example, here you were putting a lot of tension. There's no wrinkle nowhere.
Yeah.
And I actually don't trust what you did. Not because I don't trust you, because I want to be sure that I feel what
What you need to feel.
what you feel. Yes. Because otherwise I don't know how, I can't really see if it's a lot or not.
Okay.
I can see it, but it could be like just. Okay, so now I'm releasing everything.
So this you just release everything anyway.
Yes. So the button was for sure fully pressed in because it was like no wrinkles at all.
Yeah. Now
and I want to go on the edge of the wrinkles. So now there's a lot of wrinkles here at the back, you see them? And now, so I know that there's no tension, actually it's zero. So now I start put tension again. And as soon as I see that the wrinkles at the back disappear, you know, I actually also start feeling that there's a bit of tension here at the back.
Yeah.
You know, and when I feel that that tension starts to increase, I just stop. I don't want to have more of that because I want to be sure that I can get the S shaping of the button.
Yeah.
Yes, and I do this to all the buttons. And you know what is the next thing is that, you know, each part of the sail has to have the same tension. Okay, so if there's too much tension here on this part of the sail, this part of the sail will not have enough tension.
Yeah.
So the tension, the pressure of the wind has to be the same here, 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 here. Okay, so you have to have a nice pressure all the way on the whole sail. That's what gives the stability to the sail.
Okay.
In the moment that I have too much tension on one button, the button will go up.
So it messes up the rest.
Yes, because this part of the sail will catch more pressure from the wind because it's higher. So all the pressure will be here, and this part of the sail will not work. So we developed the sail that if we pull the tension of the buttons correctly, each button will have the same pressure on it.
Okay.
Yes. So, and by just doing what I showed you before with the wrinkles, so I just release everything, you know, no tension, wrinkles at the back. Now I start putting tension, the wrinkles at the back disappear. If tension starts to increase, I stop.
Okay.
And I do this for all the buttons, you know, put the button tension on, release the tension, no tension on the button. Now start putting the tension on. I feel the tension increasing, I stop. The only two buttons where I put a little bit more tension are the two top buttons.
Yeah.
Exactly, because I don't want the wind to go up from the top. As soon as I feel that there's tension, I don't stop, I just give a couple of rounds more, you know.
Okay.
Just to
Two
stabilize.
top ones. That's also something new for me, to be
Yes,
honest.
two top ones. So now this was without tension and I put it on.
Yeah.
Another thing is that when you're sailing a lot with the sail, you know, due to the reflex on the top and the pressure that the top has, you know, it keeps moving, keeps working. Let's say not moving, but working.
Yeah.
You know, they could loosen up after many hours of
Yeah,
windsurf.
so you have
it's always
to retighten. Yeah.
sometimes it's good to just check the two top buttons to retighten them. One thing which, you know, the last check is actually to come at the back of the boom, you know. So the last check is actually to come at the boom, you know, you lift up the sail from the boom. You can ask a friend to press down on the two top buttons, but normally you have to put your hands more in the center of the buttons. Yes, there. You press like this, and you have to check the leech. If you see that the leech is nice and constant and straight, you know, it means that the wind also will feel that the leech is straight. We'll have the pressure along the whole reach. The sail will be super stable, comfortable, and you will have the maximum speed. If you see that the button is higher than the line, it means there's too much tension still, so you can release it.
Okay.
If one button is lower, you can put a bit more tension to lift it up.
Okay. And in this case, it's perfect, no?
This case is perfect.
Ah, great.
It's very good.
Wow.
So,
Nice. Beautiful. Looks like if I see it like this, man, I want to go sailing. Looks amazing.
now you know, now you have a nice profile.
Yeah,
The
beautiful.
tension of the mast is perfect. The leech is opening all the way to the top, but like having the deepest point of the opening exactly on button 3, that's where the most release is.
Yeah.
You know, the base is nice and tight, still able to open if the wind increases.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the last thing you to do in the end is just playing with the boom according to a little bit the wind strength. You say, okay, it's a light wind day, I will just take that extra CM off, it's stronger, I put it all the way.
Great.
But this is how you rig a sail. And
Nice.
doesn't matter if it's a wave sail, you know, if it's a racing sail, a free ride sail, a free race sail, the concept is this. You know?
Okay.
Because this is a sail, this is how the sail flows into the wind.
Yeah.
And you know, even freestyle sail, for example, which doesn't have any loose leech, you know, you still have that game of the tension of the mast.
Yeah.
You will have less loose leech because the freestyle sail has no loose leech, just one of the main, let's say, sail which is a bit different, but the concepts are all more or less the same. Even today, you know, I'm seeing on one side, you know, maybe riders who are not rigging their sails correctly.
Like pro riders, you mean?
Pro riders,
Yeah.
yes. And you know, often they're even calling me like, Andrea, can you come to the event that, you know, we tune them together?
You mean PWA level riders?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
Me too, probably.
everyone, you know, it's like I'm looking at the sail, you know, 365 days a year. You know, I have to go in millimeters to modify.
Yeah.
So I know why I do it and why it's rigging that way. But if you don't know why, you know, it has to rig that way, it's hard to know why you have to do it. But sometimes, but now it's like, with the tutorials that we are doing, I see more and more people actually coming on the beach and they actually went through these steps.
Yeah.
And I'm quite surprised sometimes that it's more and more people are learning and they're getting really good at it.
Ah, great.
Yes, and then they can enjoy really the sail,
Yeah, it's good for the sport.
Yes, it's good. Sometimes, just having two buttons too tight.
Yeah.
You go out in the water and you feel like, my God, the sail is heavy. It doesn't accelerate, and then just release 5 turns of a key on one button and you feel like it's totally another sail.
Nice.
Yes, yeah.
Great, man. Yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Leave us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I would say see you the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.